AAT Birds Weekly Report is the Eagle news, notes, and analysis you need.
Quick, he's gonna go. What a give it to Smith, and they stop him again. Go back. He looks, fires for the end zone. Intercepted. Intercepted. The 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown. Matt Ware. Matt Ware. Midfield. He's at the 40. He's gonna go. Deshaun Jackson. He steps up his head and falls forward. And he fumbles the football, and the Eagles have it. It's gone. And the Eagles win.
It's all birds, all the time.
And welcome to another edition of the AT Birds Weekly Report. Myself, Johnny Lecca, is joined as always by Chip at Chip for the Birds and recent guest a lot of the time, which I'm enjoying. I'm liking. I know Chip is too. Mike Bauer from Dynasty Rewind at Rewind CEO. Going to talk the Eagles schedule. It has been released. Going to go through all the games.
Not make our predictions. We're not making predictions tonight.
No, but Mike, we did last week. Chip and I did Uleka Locks on the schedule. So
I was wrong.
We'll go over those later.
Okay.
To see if any of us were correct. I had to throw last week. I had to throw Uleka Lock in there because we haven't done it since the season. So gonna get that thing back on the road, doing that again. But welcome everybody, and welcome guys. First initial reaction. I'll let Chip go and then Mike go. Your initial reaction to the Eagles 2024 schedule.
Initial reaction. I like our schedule. I don't like the early bye week, so that's not ideal. But I will say that this team is getting younger, so it's not like as crippling. Like when we had older guys, they just straight up needed a break. I definitely liked, since we've been complaining about this Brazil game, the 10-day break and how we have Monday Night Football the next week. I thought that was great. And I like having 1:00 games. The one game that did jump out to me just for a fan standpoint is in prime time, the Jacksonville game, the Doug Peterson return game. I think that was a good move by the NFL marketing department.
Go ahead, Mike.
I agree with a lot of what Chip said. Can you hear me okay? Is my mic
Yeah, you sound great, dude.
okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
The microphone does.
It's good to have 1:00 games back. I know Johnny is a big and I get it, but still 1:00 games to me are great. I don't like the early bye week either. But week 18 is not flexible this year, according to Ticketmaster.com. So weeks, starting in week 6. And either games can be flexed. Got a little plus sign next to it, but not their week 18 game against the Giants. So good. Hopefully no late game, last game of the year. But I like it overall. I'm pretty happy with their schedule. Not looking good for a road trip this year, though, Johnny.
Yeah, so then that's one thing. Like, I didn't like the week 5 bye. I thought that was way too early. I wasn't a fan of that. That's kind of maybe the only big deterrent. I think I understand, and I like having a lot of home games later in the season. That's nice, especially last year when you had that gauntlet. You had that bunch of away games and the primetime games, everything late. But you don't have many home games to start the year, and it's just like it's a lot of.
Yes, you do. You have the Brazil game. That's a home game.
Yeah, it's a fake home game.
Which I'm not happy about the Brazil game, but I've voiced my opinion on that already.
Yeah, and the other funny thing was, this is the third straight year that we've had, I believe, a week 2 primetime game against Kirk Cousins. 2022, we played him Monday night, the Monday night doubleheader. We played him Thursday night, week 2 last year, and now we're another Monday night now he's on the Falcons. But that's very interesting. It's something that was a little weird.
I think that it was, again, intentional, because I don't think the Falcons are going to be good for very long. So they want to maximize their their Falconness while they can.
Yeah. And I think here,
Because-
I'm going to,
Because I do think they have a market. I just don't think they're going to be good for very long.
that whole division is very, that whole division is a toss up in the air to, well, except for Carolina. Carolina stinks. But the other three teams, it's just a toss up to see, who's going to finish 8-9, 9-8, and win the division. Honestly, it's kind of what, in my opinion, when you look at that division. But I'm going to go over the Eagles schedule here. Week 1, of course, we know Friday, September 6th against the Green Bay Packers in Brazil, 8:15.
Oh, hey, Johnny.
What?
I did hear a stat courtesy of Reuben Frank. Last 2 times they played on Friday night was 1948 and 1960.
Well, there you go.
They won the championship both of those times.
I'll say, how'd they do?
So I'll take it.
Ruben
That
Frank
is a
was
good-
there.
That is a good stat.
He was,
Very
yeah.
Very good stat. Week 2, Monday, September 16th, versus the Atlanta Falcons, 8:15 on ESPN. Hopefully, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. doesn't get into a fight like how Jeremiah Trotter got into a fight.
I don't think he will.
I'm
I
only,
do think that Michael
I'm just-
Penix Jr. could be already starting by that point.
yeah, I think you're just.
I'm joking.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
joking.
think- I don't know if you are, because you say a lot of weird stuff.
I do say weird stuff.
And it's what you are. So it's just how you are. It's your personality. That's why
The
we like
entertainment factor.
Exactly. Week 3, Sunday, September 22nd at New Orleans, 1 p.m. Hopefully the Eagles get comfortable in New Orleans because you want to see them in February in New Orleans in the Super Bowl. Week 4, Sunday, September 29th at Tampa Bay at 1 p.m. Then you have, of course, the dreaded Week 5 bye. Week 6.
It is really, really early.
3
Yeah.
NFC South teams in a row.
We're getting them right out of the way.
Yeah, that's just weird.
Yeah, that is very, very weird. And then, of course, Week 6, October 13th at home, 1 p.m. against the Cleveland Browns.
That's a game, I'm going to be honest, that's a game I'm surprised wasn't more prime time. Like, I know, like, both are kind of East Coast-ish teams, but I'm legitimately surprised that wasn't a game that was pushed because the Cleveland Browns are going to be good this year.
If
Again,
the Browns and the Eagles are undefeated at that point or have one loss, I could see that game going to 425.
is that a flexible game?
Yeah, anything like Mike said, anything with a plus next to it after anything from week 6 on can be flexed. So it is something to keep an eye on there.
Yeah.
October 20th, Sunday, October 20th at the New York Giants, 1 p.m. Saquon's return to MetLife. It's interesting. It's a 1 p.m. game. I
wanna
would
know
think
why?
they'd maybe want
Giants
to.
are terrible.
Yeah, but a lot of the game, the Bills Texans is a 1 p.m. The
Because
Eagles
the
Giants is a
Bills are
1
going to be
p.m.
terrible. The Bills are going to be awful this year.
They might be. They really might be.
They
We'll
really sold.
It's going to be interesting. They still have a good quarterback, but we'll see
Right,
what
but
they
who's
do
he
and how
throwing
they
it
run.
to? His one real consistent weapon is going to be on the other sideline.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do because last year they went a lot more run heavy oriented, and they were successful. So we'll see what they do. So then week 8, Sunday, October 27th at the Cincinnati Bengals, 425. The next week, Sunday night football, Doug Peterson comes back to the link again, November 3rd against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Week 10, this is a weird one. So you have right now at least, you have no Eagles Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. But the weird
Shock.
part about this one, this week 10, November 10th at the Dallas Cowboys, 425, it's a CBS game. That's just weird because you always see Fox. That's just, it's a little different there. Eagles
Is
at Cowboys,
is Romo the one going to call it?
probably Romo and Nance. Yes.
Huh.
That could be why.
So that'll be interesting. And then the Eagles have a short week, Thursday, November 14th against possibly then the Jaden Daniels led Washington Commanders, 8:15.
I think
Thursday
he's
Night
your
Football.
starter from day one.
I think he's your day one. I was going to say the exact
Yeah.
same thing.
Unless he gets hurt. I'm just saying.
No.
We'll see.
He's your day one starter. I with a new regime, there's no loyalty to that quarterback room.
I agree.
Then you have week 12, November 24th at the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday Night Football. Then week 13, December 1st at the Baltimore Ravens, 425.
That game is going to be a great game.
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty good game. And then week 14, Sunday, December 8th, 1 p.m. against the Carolina Panthers. Week 15, December 15th against the At home, 425 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Week 16, at the Washington Commanders, 1 p.m. Week 17.
See, like the
Cowboys,
Pennsylvania Bowl.
425.
The Pennsylvania Bowl is one that should easily, to me, be a 1:00 game.
Yeah. And the Steelers haven't won in Pennsylvania, or I'm sorry, in Philadelphia since I think like the 1960s.
And like I know the Eagles struggle against Russell Wilson. It's just like I don't see.
But this isn't that Russell Wilson.
No,
This
and it
is
hasn't been in a
Russell
while.
Wilson.
I just like that to me screams 1:00 matchup.
Yeah. They were a 1:00 matchup in 2022, 2 years ago. So, but unfortunately,
All on the East Coast, like that doesn't need to be a 4:00 game.
I agree.
Nobody wants to watch that game.
I do. You need to calm down. You really need to calm down.
Well, it's an Eagles game, so I want to watch it.
Week 17, of course, December 29th versus the Cowboys, getting them at your place at the link, 425. That potentially could be a flexed out game depending on where both the teams are at that point. And then, of course, week 18, you have to be determined. They don't know if it's going to be a Saturday, a Sunday. Potentially, apparently, there's a doubleheader Monday as well in terms of week 18. I think I saw that. So it could be either of those days against the Giants. But if the Giants stink, I could definitely easily see that being a Sunday game at 1 p.m.
Mike, did we just say the same thing at the same time with the same inflection?
We did. Yeah. Johnny, you set us up for that one, bud. Come on.
I did. But I don't know. It's nice to have the schedule out because then this is that next phase. And I've talked about the next phase of the off season.
Sure.
Where now the schedule's out. We know who they're playing. We know what's next, basically. Now it's what games we may go to, you get the travel plans, you maybe try to get tickets early, try to get everything secured, try to do what you can do it as long as, as the tickets are cheap. But I do know for the All About the Birds, we are going to be doing the trips. So definitely keep an eye out in terms of where we're going. So definitely keep a lookout on all the socials for that. But, this is the next phase of the off season. And then the OTAs are coming up the end of May. So you have those, which then lead into the training camp and then preseason. And look, we're back into full gear like always.
One game, going off the Eagles for a second, one game that jumped out to the misses was they're opening the season.
What costumes they're going to wear?
No, not the costumes. They're opening the season with the New York Jets again on Monday Night Football. But the reason why it stood out is because they're playing the 49ers, which again, on paper, is a really great matchup.
Well, no, what about this though? Why do the Jets get 6 primetime games?
Because Aaron Rodgers. And the last time Aaron Rodgers
started with the team, the Green Bay Packers in 2022, they missed the playoffs.
Right. But that's so the part that was intriguing to the misses.
They don't care about that.
I know.
And she did her research on it. Do you know who the 49ers picked up this offseason?
In terms of
defensive players that ruin Aaron Rodgers?
No.
They picked up Leonard Floyd this offseason, who obliterated him on Monday Night Football last year. And he has to open his season against Leonard Floyd again on Monday Night Football. It's just a full circle moment there.
We'll see. Looking at all the schedule, it's pretty interesting the way everything is. Like, you look at teams, and last year, granted, I like primetime games, but I think the way the Eagles were forced in terms of all the primetime games, I think they were at a big time disadvantage. Like, having 4 to 5 and really spread out is okay, but they had like primetime game after primetime game, and it was just, to me, I think it really put an effect on them in terms of the travel as well. When you look at this year
too.
Yeah, and you look at this year, it's a lot easier in terms of the travel, in terms of everything set. You look at a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, they play on Christmas, they play Black Friday, they play every day except for Tuesday.
Oh yeah, no Christmas games this year.
Yeah, thank goodness.
What I really disliked about the schedule last year is, look, if we had been consistent the whole season, they would have been fine. But we took on a national perspective on our letdown.
Yeah, and listen,
Here, if we
you're gonna have
decide
a lot
to-
of that though.
Right here, if we decide to have a crap run, it may not be in prime time.
Yeah.
We can hide behind our 1 o'clock games. Although it'd be a lot cooler if we didn't have that happen.
Yeah.
Be a lot
But
cooler if you did.
You know, the other thing, the way I look at it, like you open up the season, Jordan Love, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of fun QB matchups with the Eagles. You look at Jordan Love, you know, this season, how he ended his season last year, playing really well. Is he going to take that next step this season? Is he going to earn a big contract extension? Because, hey, let's just take a look at Jalen Hurts makes $51 million. That's his AAV, his annual value. And I know the cap and the way the Eagles structure is totally different. But the way his contract is, he's now the fourth highest paid, because Jared Goff just got $53 million.
And should.
Good
He
for
did
him.
well.
Good for him.
But the thing about that is, now, what does that mean for guys like Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, all these guys, you know, Brock Purdy, all these guys, the prices are just going up, and the Eagles hit it. And Chip, you said it last week when we talked about some of the extensions of these guys. The Eagles hit it at the point where they get it early. They get it done. So then what happens is everyone behind them gets in line and they just up it. While the Eagles are sitting at the rate that
They're already
they feel
done.
comfortable at, already done. They're secured, and it's great. And I think that's one thing, you know, some storylines that you're going to see when you look at the schedule in the Eagles, when you look at some of the quarterbacks that they're going to be playing, and they're going to be playing the Trevor Lawrences, they're going to be playing the Jordan Loves, the Dak Prescotts. So
They're
that
playing
question-
Joe Burrow. I'm excited for that game.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because the
Because
last
that is
time
a
they
game-
played Joe Burrow,
That is a game where the
They tied,
Eagles
didn't they?
defense is going to have to step up while the offense also puts up astronomical numbers. That is a potential of being the game of the year for the Eagles.
no, that should be a fun game. I don't know. The only thing I didn't like about the schedule too is the end of the year, those 3 NFC East opponents.
I hate that every year.
But
I know they
like,
do that. I know they do that because they want to decide the division. Like, I get that.
Every team does that, because I saw something that the Chicago Bears and the Pittsburgh Steelers, the first 10 weeks of the season, don't play a division opponent.
Yeah. We had a lot of seasons like
Crazy.
that. You remember a couple times where and it seemed to me like when we had the Cardinals in our division a long time ago, showing my age, but it was always like
Back in the day when the Cardinals,
but it was like we'd play them, and then it was 1 week we'd play someone else, and then we'd play them again.
Yeah, we took care of them real quick, usually toward the middle end of the season, where Jake Plummer would be like 1 week on, 1 week off with us.
But
Jake Plummer,
it's
oof.
frustrating
You're
when
aging
they
yourself.
do stuff like that, and we don't have that this year, so I'm pretty happy about that. Overall, my only real complaint is just the early bye. I would love it to be around anywhere between weeks 9 and 12.
Yeah.
I like a little bit of a later bye, but
Just so you can rest up going into the playoffs.
yeah,
Like, if you think about it, Mike, I think this is the point you were trying to get to, is you almost have a bye week, close to a bye week, with a 10-day layoff between weeks 1 and 2, and
Like a
then you have
mini
another bye week 5. I mean, you're not even getting into a rotation yet. at
here's
that point.
another one too that I'm not the biggest fan of. Week 10 to 11, you got the Sunday night game, well, Sunday afternoon game in Dallas. Bless you.
Thank you.
That's 4:25 game. Then they have to fly back and on a short week play against the Commanders. Now, luckily, that game is at home. So that's why I think that game probably would not be flexed, that Dallas game there, just because of the travel. But then again, the NFL doesn't care about player safety as much as they care about making.
No.
So
That
you
is-
never know.
Big time true on that.
Goodell doesn't care. He
I
doesn't.
am flabbergasted by that revelation.
I am very intrigued, though. I know the Giants aren't expected to be very good, but I am very intrigued to see Saquon return to MetLife, and hopefully,
I don't think the Cowboys are going to be very good. Am I the only one?
No, I think the Dallas Cowboys are quietly having one of the best off seasons in the NFL.
By not doing a single thing?
for an Eagles
Oh,
fan.
sorry. They're having one of my favorite off seasons. No, I don't think the Cowboys are going to be good too. I think that eventually they lose Dak Prescott. They're going to lose Micah Parsons, and what you're going to have is you're going to have CeeDee Lamb and Trey Lance, right? So you're going to have Trey Lance for maybe 4 games a year, and whoever your backup quarterback is, because Trey Lance can stay on the field. And when he is on the field, I'm still not convinced he's very good. So,
but like looking at the division, and we know what the Giants are. Washington's in that rebuild stage, but they're getting pieces for
they got
themselves.
some pieces,
and the Cowboys are just staying stagnant, still having to sign 3 of their high-profile players to extensions. Also, Odigizua, their defensive tackle, had over 10 sacks last year, is a free agent next year, and he's not going to come cheap. Tyler Smith is a free agent after next year. He's due for a deal. He's same draft class, I believe, at 22, so he's due for a deal soon. Jake Ferguson's due for a deal, and I think another after next year as well. So they've got a lot of people coming up. There's a lot of issues coming up. It's funny because when you look at the schedule release, you see all these now. Netflix is getting now. Of course, they got the Christmas Day games, but
they got a great game.
They're talking about these releases of all these documentary things that are going on. They got a 10-part Dallas Cowboys documentary about Jerry Jones and everything. Listen, I'll save the 10 parts and just say and give you the synopsis of what it's going to be. Jimmy Johnson built the team and Jerry Jones destroyed it. Boom, it's done. You don't have to watch 10 parts. I saved you. Boom, there you go.
I don't think I would watch 10
can
parts.
I add something onto that too, Johnny?
Go ahead.
Netflix, if you need anybody to do color commentary for any of these Christmas Day games, hit your boy up. I got a lot of podcasting experience. I'd love to help out.
I love that they watch our show. Netflix fan of the show.
Netflix. Yeah. No, it's just it's interesting when you look at all these streaming platforms and what is it going to be when you take a look at, because I saw somewhere that all these streaming, if you were to get everything, it's like $800 for the year.
Yeah.
Whether it's YouTube TV, the Sunday Ticket, and then of course you have Amazon, you have Peacock, you have Netflix, all this stuff. What is it really going to be when you take a look down the road, and what is it gonna be like? Is every single streaming platform gonna have a game? Like it's very interesting to see where it's going to go and how the NFL. I know money talks, and if networks are not really networks, if streaming services are throwing you boatloads of money. Now, in one way, it's a good thing because we know how popular the NFL is. But the good thing about the extra money and all the money that's coming into these deals and everything, it means the cap's going to go up even higher. So
it also prevents the monopoly of like the three networks. Now, I think that each of the streaming services does not need one. Like they don't each need a game. I think that is indeed too much. But again, mostly everybody has everything at this point anyway. Like I cut cable years ago and I'm still paying 100 million different services. So it doesn't even matter.
We didn't save that much money, did we, Chip?
No, we did not.
Right back where we started.
But you know what I'm not doing? Calling cable companies every single week with, hey, this isn't working.
Yeah.
That's true.
That is very true. And I think one thing, maybe I'm the only one, when I think about like the Netflix games, like what's the score bug going to look like? What's the graphics going to look like? I don't know. I like that because I like that with the Super Bowl, especially if my team's not in it. Seeing what the
one.
Yeah. Listen, I like that a lot.
Nickelodeon, baby.
I like to see what the networks do in terms of how they design it and stuff like that. Is it too much on the eyes? Is it pretty good? Is it basic? Listen, I wouldn't mind going back to the early 2000s Fox, where it just had a silver box in the corner with the scores. I think sometimes they get a little overboard in terms of everything that they put in there. Do you agree with me with that? Like I feel like it's sometimes way too overboard when they getting into all the different graphics. And I think Fox is the worst. Like watching Fox, they have those cartoonish graphics of the players. Like when they score, it like jumps out. Like it's just
rid of them. I remember the first time I saw the Jalen Hurts graphic, that cartoon graphic, I was like, oh, what is that?
Was that before or after you believed in him?
I just remember seeing it and not liking it. Like, they have pictures of these guys. They know. Just put their picture. Stop.
Just put the 4K.
Just
You
make
know
the
what?
easy picture. It's an easy
Johnny,
picture.
you're right. They do too much.
Yeah.
Just
But
stop.
now, before we wrap this up, I do want to go over our Uleka locks from last
I was
week.
wrong. Starting off the season wrong.
Yeah. You were wrong.
Mine would have been cool, though. We said that last week. Mine would have been very cool.
It's not about being cool. It's about being right. And you were wrong. Eagles Dallas on Thanksgiving. I, of course, was wrong. I did 2 of them. 3 straight road games. Well, I was wrong there. And the Eagles play the Giants within the first 5 weeks. So I was 2 weeks off on that. So close, but no cigar there. You can't win being close.
They broke it up pretty good with home and away this year, I thought.
Yeah, I think so too. And listen, I like having all those games at home, or basically after November 24th, you don't stray far away from 95 South in terms of you go Landover, Maryland, and Baltimore. Those are the 2 furthest places you go. Otherwise, you're home.
Deal. I'll take that.
That's great, especially if you're in the position that we think they're going to be in and that we want them to be in.
Yeah.
They want to be in that playoff mode, and you're staying close to home. I think that's great. You're not traveling all over. I think the furthest place they go is LA, and that's on a
Brazil.
Sunday night.
False. They go to Brazil
True.
for a home game.
Yeah, you know what? That is wrong. And you know what's weird though? I'm surprised they're starting that game at 8:15 because that's 9:15 Brazil time. Because they're an hour ahead of us.
Yeah, that's one of the things when I found out about like where it was. I thought, all right, well maybe
I thought
it'll
7:15.
Yeah, I thought maybe even as early as like 6:30.
Yeah,
but
I think that they were going to do whatever the NFL told them to do.
I'm not complaining about an 8:15 game on a Friday. It's Friday night.
Yeah,
so no complaints there.
You're gonna miss all the high school games though. You're not gonna be able to tune into, Whitehall, Northampton.
Oh no, what will I do?
Catasauqua, Nazareth.
Yeah, I'll be fine. Don't worry about me, guys.
Are you even speaking words anymore?
I am speaking lots of words.
I know you are.
That makes sense to you.
Yes, it does.
Right.
I went to Kutztown. They all make sense to me.
I know people from Kutztown. I don't know about that. Craig Reynolds. So when we take a look on one more thing I want to go over before we call this a show.
Is that what we're calling it these days?
Sometimes we are, sometimes we're not. But let me hear your takes on Jalen Hurts, because there's been a lot of chatter recently.
Are we still doing this?
No. Just recently, the last day or two, there's been a couple, sports analysts, if you want to call them real analysts, or maybe just sports regurgitators. That is bringing up that Hurts is not elite. And basically, the thing is, they're setting it up that if he has a great season, it's because the talent around him, and it's not because of him. He's the weakest link. And when they struggle, it's going to be his fault. So no matter what, they're putting themselves in a win-win situation, which to me is funny because, I'll tell you this right now. A player like Justin Herbert, you hear nothing about. Oh, he's got all this talent, this arm talent. He's so gifted, all this. He hasn't made a damn playoff. He hasn't been in the playoffs. You can have all the arm talent.
He's the week 17 choke artist.
Exactly. He could be the greatest arm talent quarterback whatever it is. He hasn't made a freaking playoff game. The other thing is CJ Stroud and Jordan Love are 1-year wonders, but all of a sudden they're top 5 quarterback now because they had 1 year. But then when you bring up Jalen Hurts, says, yeah, but he's only had 1 year. It just, nothing makes sense when they speak.
Well, in all fairness, Justin Herbert's another guy who he's getting 2020 Carson Wentz treatment with his wide receivers right now. They haven't done him a ton of favors in LA. Has he been great? No.
No, he did make a playoff. I do lie. They just blew a huge lead, 27-0 lead to the Jaguars.
I feel, unfortunately, he's going to get the Phillip Rivers treatment out there, just kind of waste away his career in Los Angeles. But look, it's slow time of the year for the NFL, and these talking heads need something to talk about. Let's bash a potential MVP candidate. Let's be hot takey in May.
Yep.
Because why not? Why actually look and dig for some good analysis on a guy who, despite the fact who in one time in his career, college, pro, has had the same offensive coordinator for 2 years in a row. One time. Been in the league since 2020, and obviously Alabama, Oklahoma. So it's foolish. It's hot takey. It's clickbaity. This is the stuff that the NFL is peddling on us. And this is what we just have to wade through. And who loves articles like this? Commanders fans, Giants fans, Cowboys fans,
Yep.
stuff like that. These are the people that still say Dak Prescott's elite. These are the people that say, hey, all Daniel Jones needs is Malik Neighbors. These are the people that think that Jaden Daniels can learn how to run and slide and protect himself and lead the Commanders to new heights. So it's all foolish. It's stupid. What matters is how the Philadelphia Eagles front office and locker room feels about Jalen Hurts, how the Eagles fans feel about Jalen Hurts. That's what matters. Chris Sims, if Chris Sims could take Jalen Hurts behind the NovaCare complex and shoot him, he would do it. I don't know what that man has against him. The fact that this guy couldn't even remember a play call in practice. Chris Sims is more notorious for rupturing his spleen than any other thing he did on the football field. Okay? He's a hack. He's not even a has-been. He is a never was. Okay? The best part of Chris Sims ran down his mother's leg onto a bedsheet. I'm sorry. That's just how it is.
Whoa.
It's that time of the year, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait a minute. Ran down his mother's leg? So is his mother isn't it ran down his father's leg?
Well, no, it leaks out, doesn't it?
All right. The both of you.
But regardless, this is the season that we're in, guys. This is what it is. He's fine.
I think that you look at this team and you go, you know what? This team's going to go as far as the quarterback, which guess what? Is always the case. And I like my odds with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I really, really do. I like my odds with Jalen Hurts because he is a natural leader. Yeah, you know what? He's got the talent around him. That's fantastic. I'll take that. I will take the talent around him. Like, people just need to, again, stop finding reasons to complain.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people do. You take a look at it, and I posted something, today. He's 34-17 as a starter in his
3 years,
and 3 years starting. Basically, he had a couple games earlier in his career, but as a starting quarterback, he's 34-17. Two-time Pro Bowler, second team All-Pro in 22, NFC champion. He's got 11,764 passing yards, 67 passing touchdowns, 41 rushing touchdowns, 2,500 rushing yards, 8 game-winning drives, 6 fourth-quarter comebacks. And a lot of people in the comments, maybe they're Cowboy fans. He's got, all these fumbles and these 34 picks and all these fumbles and everything. They like to bring that up. Because that's kind of the only thing that they can bring up. Especially, it's funny when it's a Cowboys fan. When your quarterback,
you're going to fumble a little bit. It happens.
and when you're the lead running back because you had no running backs and you had no cohesion in your offensive play calling. Yeah, when you touch the ball as much as he does, yes, you're going to have it. Maybe bringing in a guy like Saquon Barkley. Maybe bringing in elite receiving talent. Maybe revamping your offensive line. Maybe doing all these things. Maybe all these things will change how many fumbles he has.
He does touch the ball every play.
I get it, but you know what I mean.
I just had
to be the lead weapon on every single play was absurd.
Yeah. Hey, that being said, I do want Jalen to run less this year. I would like to see Kellen Moore utilize more motion, which I don't think I need to even say that. I think that's going to happen.
He already said it was going to.
But I also want to see them use Jalen Hurts' legs as a decoy instead of as a de facto thing to move the chain. Obviously, you want him to be mobile and you want him to run a little bit, but this is our franchise quarterback. You need to protect him. And yeah, I understand Most of the injuries happen from within the pocket, blah, blah, blah. We said he wasn't right last year. He took too many hits. The offense looked like it was the wing T offense. It looked like what the Eagles ran in 1948 when they won one of those championships. So I'm really excited to see what the offense looks like this year. But look, hey, everybody, temper expectations. We thought we were just going to go from Shane Steichen to Brian Johnson. It was going to be seamless, Super Bowl or bust. I think it's going to be different.
We did.
So
a lot of people did. I did not, but a lot of people did.
You know, people want to bring up like all the turnovers and everything. You just look at a player like Patrick Mahomes, his first 4 years.
Yeah.
He had 62 turnovers. Now, he had a shit ton of touchdowns. That's not, nothing to look away from. He had a ton of touchdowns, but the way you look at it is Hurts has 108 touchdowns.
Yeah, dude's a monster.
It's going to happen. You could say whatever you want, but listen, he's been to a Super Bowl. He outplayed the Super Bowl MVP in the Super Bowl and probably had one of the best Super Bowl performances that we've seen. Unfortunately, came on the losing end. Right. But listen, people are going to hate. That's just what it is. But I'll tell you this: he gets a Super Bowl, you're not going to stop the Eagles fans. I'll tell you that right now, especially to Dallas fans, because they're not going to say anything. And you can't go and you can't bring up. Same with Giants fans or Commanders fans. Commanders fans, sorry, you can't bring up your Super Bowls back in 1990, 91. Like
y'all were a different team.
I was coming out of my mother in 91. Like I've been here for 33 years. So I'm sorry, you can't really bring that up. Same with the Cowboys. Listen, 1995, I was in kindergarten. Was barely, saying my ABCs. Actually, no, I was saying my ABCs. But
what kindergarten program did you go
through? I could barely do it now. I just started getting potty trained. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, finally, good for you, buddy.
Thank you. I can't believe it. And then the Giants. Of course, the Giants are the most recent, but they've been dog shit for the last 10 years, 11 years. They haven't done diddly poo. So
I like how you said dog shit and changed that into diddly poo.
Diddly poo. Yeah. I'm sure you'd like that. You like those little twists.
I do. I'm not a big cusser.
Well, you're a teacher, so you have to be.
Yeah.
And you're an umpire, so you have to be.
Yeah.
You get cursed at.
Not often. I'm pretty good. I did just have my my high school playoff meeting because I'm going to be doing high school playoff games this year. So I will definitely be getting cussed out during that.
Oh, for sure. I'll come down and curse you out this week in the future.
Yeah. Mike and I will come down.
Do you want to know? I've got a couple 12-year-old games this week. So if you want to come down to one of those and cuss me out, that'd be great. Just tailgate.
On my way, buddy.
Yeah. We'll be down. Send us the address. We'll be there.
I will.
But no, I said, we'll be back. I'm not sure. We'll see what goes on. I think next week, potentially have a guest coming on. But I think we're going to start talking a little bit about the Eagles roster and the depth wise and going kind of position by position and seeing maybe where they need to add a veteran or two. But he'd be cussing all the way down.
You're out there, Javier.
My man.
But we'll go over the roster, kind of see where the Eagles stand, see where they can add maybe a veteran or two depth wise. But we'll go over that. If there's any news, of course, we'll break that on the show as well. But I want to appreciate everybody for joining us and, commenting in, subscribe. Make sure you do what you do. Keep our socials. We have a couple things lined up in the near future. So definitely keep an eye out. Some fun stuff that's dropping, potentially a giveaway that's coming up as well. Plus also with the Eagle schedule being released, see where we're going to be traveling to. And, there it goes. There it is. But with that, as we always end the show with two very special words. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
This is Matt Ware. Hey, for all the Eagle content you need, go follow All About the Birds. They do a damn thing. Check them out.
Hey, Eagles fans, I may be in Tampa, but I know where to find the best Eagles content out there. Check out my friends at All About the Birds.
Philadelphia, what's up? This your boy Freddie Mitchell, a.k.a. Fred X. It's all about the bird.
All birds all the time. All birds all the time.
All About the Birds provides you with weekly analysis, game recaps, informative interviews, and it's all birds all the time.